At the girl's funeral, her boyfriend was drowning in grief. Yet standing nearby were 4 other men crying even harder than he was. He turned, his voice dripping with disdain, and asked who they were. To his shock, they all spoke in unison. "We're Mu Haohao's boyfriends." The words froze the entire scene in utter awkwardness. Only the departed Mu Haohao had escaped this disaster. This stunning girl, blessed with beauty, a perfect figure, and a privileged background, was none other than Mu Haohao, the heroine who transmigrated into this novel world. Here she had to date 5 male leads and max out their affection points. Only when all reached 100% could she leave. But she had never even been in a relationship before. Now she was forced to juggle 5 paper cutout boyfriends at once. A living nightmare that felt like pure hell to her. When her affection with one of them finally reached 80%, she decided to give up. The system, Yang gently reminded her. Forcing an exit may cause space-time distortion. The consequences are unpredictable. Proceed at your own risk. Just like that, she blinked once and woke up again, this time back in her ex-boyfriend's arms. Same novel world, same man, but the mission had now become hell mode. He was one of the 5 male leads, Jiqing Lin. Mu Haohao was stunned. Why was he here too? Could it really be, as Yang had warned, that the space-time distortion dragged her back to restart everything? Helpless, she kept calling out to Yang, but there was no response. Meanwhile, the man leaned closer, his voice cold. Mu Haohao was lying to me, fun? Today I'll show you the price of deceiving Jiqing Lin. Pinned down on the sofa, she didn't even resist, because in her memory things hadn't played out like this before. In her last life, she only met Jiqing Lin at a birthday party. Their first conversation was brief, just a few words before her brother came to take her away. But this time the opening had changed. Jiqing Lin was overbearing, sweeping her into a princess carry and striding toward the bedroom. She struggled with all her strength, but it was useless. Desperate, she blurted out a lie, that her brother was on his way to pick her up. Hearing the word brother only enraged Jiqing Lin further. Mu Haohao, last time I spoiled you, respected you, loved you, and in return you flaunted yourself among 5 men. Don't ever let me hear another man's name from your lips, not even your brother's. The truth was clear. When men are betrayed, the wound cuts even deeper. If love and care had been useless before, then this time he would act first, turning uncooked rice into a done deal. Mu Haohao cried and clung desperately to the doorframe, struggling. Jiqing Lin, calm down. I only came to celebrate your brother's birthday. Did I do something to upset you? I'm sorry, please stop, I'm scared. Just then his younger brother Jiqingqi happened to pass by. Seeing the scene, he rushed forward to intervene. Brother, did my classmate offend you? I'll take her away right now. She won't bother you again. But the elder brother's attitude was iron hard. He snapped at him to mind his own business and enjoy his 18th birthday, then slammed the door shut with a heavy bang. Pinned down on the bed, Mu Haohao couldn't move. All she could do was pray for her brother to arrive and save her. Jiqing Lin was no longer the gentle, considerate man of the last lifetime. Now he was like a predator, though even then he still couldn't bring himself to truly hurt her. He murmured, coaxing, "Be good, just be mine, alright? I'm sorry. I only want to make sure there's no way out for you so you'll never run off to other men again." Mu Haohao cried out in pain, "I'll hate you forever." But by then her clothes had already been torn apart. Just then a loud crash came from the doorway. Mu Haohao's brother had arrived just in time. He pinned Jiqing Lin down at once, muttering strange words. "Jiqing Lin, you just came back in this life and you're already breaking the rules? Violating the pact." As she calmed down, Mu Haohao's face filled with shock. Could it be they had also been reborn? The tension between the 2 men grew heavier. Jiqing Lin sneered, "I came back for revenge. I'm no longer the fool blinded by love I once was." Mu Chong clenched his fists, spreading his arms wide to shield his sister. He shouted, "Come then. If you want revenge, you'll have to step over my dead body first." The fight broke out, dozens of fierce exchanges, yet neither could gain the upper hand. Trembling, Mu Haohao pulled her torn clothes together, her voice choked with tears. "Brother, take me home." Before they left, Jiqing Lin's gaze locked on her. "Do you hate me?" he asked. Mu Haohao lowered her head, giving no reply. A faint smirk tugged at Jiqing Lin's lips. He felt no regret for what he had just done. Yet once she was gone, a strange ache tightened in his chest. Under his breath he murmured, "Mu Hao Hao, you'll never know the price I paid, just to come back and see you again." On the way home, Mu Chong couldn't help but scold his sister. "You knew the Ji family competes with ours, yet you still ran straight into their hands like a fool." Mu Hao Hao, feeling wronged, explained she only went to a classmate's birthday party. How could she have known Ji Qingqi's brother would be that kind of man? She cautiously asked, "Brother, what did you mean just now by this life?" Having suddenly been reborn, she had no idea what had changed in this world. She tried to probe carefully, but her brother brushed it off, giving no direct answer. He only wanted to protect her, afraid she couldn't handle the truth, that they were all reborn. After a quick wash, Mu Hao Hao finally lay down to rest, but her mind was in chaos. Without the system's guidance, she felt she wouldn't survive long in this world. Just then, the system's voice chimed in. "Database upgrade complete, binding successful. System Yang is here to provide you with a home-like experience." Now upgraded to version 2.0, Yang even looked a little cuter. Mu Hao Hao shot upright in excitement. "What I need to know is, what happened to this world? Even if the transfer failed and I had to start over, why is the script itself different now?" Still half asleep, Yang yawned while explaining, "Your forced exit in the last life caused a space-time distortion. As a result, in this life, the plotline and the timeline got all tangled together. Simply put, you're still at the opening point of your last life, but every male lead already has 60% affection for you. Which means right now you're officially a woman with 5 boyfriends at the same time. But don't celebrate just yet because of the distortion. They've all gained a new stat, a blackening value. And right now that's also sitting at 60%. Mu Hao Hao nearly spat blood after hearing that. What the hell is a blackening value? Just one affection stat nearly killed me last time. Now you're adding another? And with all the male leads reborn too? This is hell mode. Yang eagerly massaged her shoulders, trying to comfort her. Actually, this situation isn't so bad for you. At least you've got 2 options. You can either max out the affection of all the male leads or reduce their blackening value to 0. As long as you complete one of these, you'll be able to return to the real world. Hearing this, Mu Hao Hao's little schemer side flared up again. She thought she could ignore affection and just reset the blackening values. But the system wasn't that simple. She had to keep up the role of being all 5 men's girlfriend while lowering their blackening one by one. With the system's task activation chime echoing, Mu Hao Hao once again stepped into the battlefield of this twisted world, letting out a pained scream. She truly didn't want to keep playing the heartbreaker, or cheating sea queen anymore. Every single day felt like a nightmare. When would this torment finally end? Meanwhile, downstairs, Mu Chong sneezed as if under a curse. Having been reborn, he knew all too well. His sister was destined to be a sea queen, and he would be her vanguard, clearing the way as she rose to power. But before anything even started, trouble struck. Ji Qingqi called, saying Mu Hao Hao had left her phone at his place. Normally not a big deal, just her tool to juggle 5 boyfriends. But if one of them called and Ji Qinglin picked up, she'd be sunk instantly. Given Ji Qinglin's current attitude, going back to retrieve it was like walking into a trap. So she forced a smile and begged Ji Qingqi to switch it off and keep it safe for her. Ji Qingqi agreed and even apologized for what happened that night. He begged her not to tell his brother Suzu. He admitted he knew about their relationship, and if Suzu found out, their brotherhood would be finished. Mu Hao Hao froze for a few seconds. Since when were Suzu and Ji Qingqi brothers? In her last life they were never this close. Could the space-time distortion have rewritten everyone's memories? At that moment, the ever-adorable Yang popped up to explain. Because your last life's plot and affection points reached 80%, the world stabilized at that progress. So now, with your rebirth, everyone's completeness has been reloaded. They're no longer simple NPCs, but fully realized individuals. Understanding at last, Mu Hao Hao promised Ji Qingqi she would never let a 5th person know about this. Ji Qingqi hung up, finally breathing a sigh of relief. But what neither of them realized, Ji Qinglin had heard every single word from behind. The next day at school, Susi showed up with a scowl and instantly hurled a basketball straight at Mu Hao Hao. True to his role as the most hot-tempered man in the story, his blackening value spiked by 5 points on the spot. Yet his affection level remained unchanged. Clearly, Suzu was the type whose fiery exterior hid a surprisingly gentle heart. He also had a brother, Susi, who was his complete opposite. The two were like fire and ice. And of course, Susi was another fish in Mu Haohao's pond. In fact, he had been the easiest to raise in her last life, hardly requiring any effort. As long as she occasionally joined him at the library to review or study, his affection would skyrocket. Precisely because their relationship had been so smooth and passionless, Mu Haohao had even wondered if he only valued her family background, her character, and her looks, rather than truly loving her. But the very next moment, as soon as they stepped into the archive room, Susi slammed the door shut and cornered her with a forceful capitan. In the last life, when Mu Haohao had cheated with 5 men at once, Susi had been anxious, had reflected, and finally blamed himself for failing as a boyfriend. In this life, he swore he would never let it happen again. He resolved. Whatever a boyfriend should do, he would do, and even what he shouldn't, he would learn to do. As for Mu Haohao, she could only belong to him. Mu Haohao was utterly stunned. In her memory, Susi had always been a gentle, bookish scholar. Now he was pinning her to the wall with raw dominance. What on earth had this world turned into? She forced a smile, trying to politely decline his date invitation. But Susi gave her no room to escape. He pressed closer step by step, his gaze cold and unyielding. In her last life, he had been like a summer breeze. This time, he was an icy mountain pressing down on her. Left with no choice, Mu Haohao caved and reluctantly agreed to his request. But that tender scene was witnessed by Suzu as he passed by the doorway. Susi quickly sensed his presence and deliberately raised his voice, reminding Mu Haohao not to forget their date that evening. The mention of a couple's date made Mu Haohao flush with sudden shyness. It was in fact the very first real date she'd ever had with Susi across both lifetimes. Though she'd long grown numb to love, this time a tiny spark of happiness stirred inside her, along with a hint of anticipation. No sooner had Mu Haohao left than Suzu stormed up to his brother, furious. "Shameless hypocrite. You took advantage of me being called away by the teacher to swoop in. I was the one who liked Mu Haohao first. Last life you stole my identity to lock her down. This life you're stealing my chance to date her again. If I don't beat you into the ground today, I'm not your real brother." Staring at his hot-headed little brother, Susi could only sigh. "You really think that without me Mu Haohao would be yours? Don't forget, there's also Jiqing Lin, Shen Tinglan, and Go. Compared to them, what chance do the two of us little rookies have? Only if we join forces as brothers do we stand a chance at winning Haohao's favor." The school bell rang, dusk settling in. Completely unaware, Mu Haohao muttered to herself, thinking Suzu would return after being chewed out by the dean to give her trouble. To her surprise, he had taken leave and gone home. With Suzu gone, today's little car crash never happened. She had survived another day. At that moment, Mu Haohao was overjoyed. Under the tree, Susi had been waiting for her. When school ended, the two left together, cheerful, heading straight to the movies. In the theater, Mu Haohao munched on popcorn, silently grumbling to herself. "This movie is so cliché. Aside from the good-looking leads, there's really nothing worth watching." Just as she finished complaining, the camera suddenly zoomed in on a rather inappropriate close-up. Mu Haohao instantly froze, unable to breathe. Oh hell no, why are they kissing non-stop? Even the slurping sounds are crystal clear. Flustered, she squeezed her eyes shut. "I swear I'm reporting this scene. How did this even pass review?" She ducked her head, praying for the scene to end quickly. Right then, Susi leaned close to her ear and teased, "Why aren't you watching? Don't like the movie?" Mu Haohao blushed furiously at a loss for words. In a panic, she shoved her popcorn toward him. "This popcorn is really good, sweet. Try it." Susi leaned in, deliberately intimate, and took the popcorn into his mouth along with her finger. The warmth of his lips wrapped around her finger, and Mu Haohao went completely blank. "He actually put my finger in his mouth." Susi's lips curved into a tempting smile. It's delicious. Sweet." Mu Haohao felt as if Cupid's arrow had struck her straight in the heart. "Where's the icy, expressionless boy I knew? Wasn't he supposed to be the one with only one look for the entire story? Was Susi just trying to flirt with me?" Thankfully, the movie was nearly over and Mu Haohao snapped back to her senses. Beside her, Susi reached out, about to take her hand. Instinctively, Mu Hao Hao pulled away. His hand froze in midair, a shadow flickering in his eyes, though his voice stayed calm. Hao Hao, what's wrong? Mu Hao Hao forced an awkward smile and whispered, I'm just afraid of being seen. The school forbids dating and my brother doesn't allow it either. Susi, can we keep it low-key? Susi didn't reply, but in Mu Hao Hao's mind the system chimed, blackening value +5. She nearly burst into tears. Seriously? Just refusing to hold hands adds 5 points? Slowly, Susi withdrew his hand. His face revealed nothing as he said evenly, it was my oversight. I forgot about that. Come on, let's go eat. After they finished their meal without incident, Mu Hao Hao finally relaxed, thinking she could at last head home. Smiling at him, she said, Thank you, I had a great time today. You can drop me off here, my place is just ahead. It's only a few steps away, nothing will happen. It's late, better head home yourself. Just as Mu Hao Hao was about to leave, Susi suddenly spun around and seized her wrist without warning. In just a few steps he pulled her into his arms, leaning down toward her lips, only for Mu Hao Hao to instinctively turn away. Startled and frightened, she stammered, Susi, what are you doing? He asked as if it were the most natural thing in the world. Hao Hao, aren't we dating? Didn't you agree because you liked me? Tears welled in her eyes as she faltered out, Why? But inside she was screaming, Of course not. It's just the mission, just to raise affection points. How could I actually fall for a character in a novel? Susi's pupils tightened, his voice low. So you wouldn't hate it if I kissed you, right? He leaned even closer, his face nearly brushing against her delicate features. Mu Hao Hao shivered, forcing the words out. Of course I don't hate it, it just feels a little too fast. If you really want to kiss me, then just do it. She shut her eyes and tilted her face up, wearing the expression of someone about to face execution. Susi gazed at her trembling lashes, her obvious fear hidden behind false bravado. After a long pause, he lowered his head, not to her lips but to press a soft kiss on her forehead. Mu Hao Hao froze. Just the forehead? At the same time, Mu Hao Hao's system chimed, blackening value +5. Target Susi now at a total of 70. Mu Hao Hao burst into tears, furious. What? It went up again? I let him kiss me already, didn't I? Susi's face remained calm, betraying nothing. He simply patted her head and said, I'll stop here. Remember to text me when you get home. Mu Hao Hao collapsed in frustration, nearly wailing. This is such a loss. My hand got bitten, my face got kissed, and his blackening still rose 10 points. At this rate, when will I ever reset it to 0 and return to reality? Meanwhile, Susi didn't go straight home. Instead, he sat alone at a rest area by the roadside. Staring at Mu Hao Hao's message popping up on his phone, he closed his eyes, a searing pain spreading across his chest. At 10 o'clock, brilliant fireworks blossomed in the night sky, one after another, dazzlingly beautiful. He whispered, Mu Hao Hao, look. This firework display is my gift to you. But in truth, she only thought about how to escape from him. Suchiese gaze darkened. Last life, I held back every desire to protect your innocence, hiding my sharp edges so I wouldn't scare you. But you betrayed me. So be it. This time I'll never be soft again. As soon as Susi stepped through the door, Suzu lunged at him, seizing his collar. Why are you back so late? What were you doing with Hao Hao tonight? A date is just dinner, so why didn't you come straight home afterward? Susi brushed him off coldly, refusing to even look at his foolish brother. With a mocking snort, he said, Suzu, why bother lying to yourself? If you'd gone tonight, would you have stopped at just dinner? Dinner, shopping, a movie, kissing, hugging, then sending her home, I did it all. Before he could finish, Suzu's fist crashed into his brother's mouth, splitting his lip. Susi's head snapped to the side, but he laughed coldly, his eyes brimming with scorn. You're playing for keeps? Even after all this, you still like her? Mu Hao Hao is fickle. She'll love anyone who gives her attention. And you're ready to turn against me for a woman like that? Suzu shoved him harder against the wall, gripping his collar tight. How I feel about Mu Hao Hao is none of your damn business. If you don't like her, then back off. Quit now. Why should I quit? I gave her my feelings too. Susi snarled, gripping his brother back, his eyes bloodshot. Not only will I stay, I'll play her the way she played me. I'll make her taste every ounce of what I endured, then grind her into the dirt until she can never crawl back up again. Suzu's eyes went red, like a lion on the brink of losing control. Fine. If you've got the guts, guard her well. But if you can't, don't say I didn't warn you. Rage boiled in Suzu's chest, ready to explode, but when he met his brother's equally bloodshot eyes, the fury melted into silence. Twins they were, different in temperament, yet bound by an uncanny connection. His voice lowered. Susi, I did how avoid you tonight? She doesn't like you and that's why you're mad. Your pride can't stand being treated as a backup. But me. I'm not here for pride. I'm not here for revenge. I truly love her. I want to marry her. Suchi scoffed. Marriage? Don't waste your ridiculous sincerity. A woman like her will never step foot into the Su family. With that he turned and walked away. Left alone, Suzu leaned against the cold entryway wall. After a long silence he whispered, Mu how do you see now? Everyone else has ulterior motives. I'm the only one who doesn't. So you must choose me. The night passed without incident. The next day at school, everyone acted as if nothing had happened. Mu how sighed in relief. An entire day without seeing the Su twins. Perfect. Just as classes ended, her desk mate Chu Chin called out. Jiqing said there's a basketball game today between the high school and the university team. Let's go watch. Jiqing chimed in with a grin. Yeah, come on. Suzu and I are both playing today. It's going to be an exciting match. Mu how forced an awkward laugh, the memory of Suzu hurling a basketball at her flashing through her mind. The thought of seeing him again made her nervous. I might have something to do today. Before she could finish making excuses, her phone buzzed. She glanced down. It was a message from Suzu. Mu how, come watch me at the basketball court. If you don't, I'll come to your class and kiss you in front of everyone. Mu how nearly exploded on the spot. Her hands shook as she gripped the phone, teeth clenched. Suzu, you are so damn annoying. On the court, the students were buzzing. This was a cross-division match between the high school and university teams. Already unfair to begin with. Word was, the university squad loved dirty tricks, especially forcing star players into fouls. And tonight was no exception. Chu Chin tugged Mu how along, apologizing as they hurried. Sorry, I got held up. The game's already started, but Jiqing said he saved us seats. In the stands, the crowd was already roaring, the match inside reaching a fever pitch. Mu how instinctively searched the court, spotting Suzu completely surrounded by the university players. His whole body radiated raw aggression, clearly ready to break through by force. Then almost by accident he lifted his head toward the stands. The moment his eyes landed on Mu how, the fury drained away, replaced by a flush of red across his cheeks. Maybe it was because she was there. But in the next instant Suzu spun, blitzing past the buzz-cut defender with lightning speed, scoring an easy point for the high school team. Mu how didn't really understand basketball, but that didn't stop her from admiring the view. Temper aside, as the novel's most explosive male lead, Suzu's looks and sheer presence were undeniably captivating. While everyone was still celebrating the high school team's score, a buzz-cut player from the university side took the chance to slam his arm into Suzu. Suzu skidded across the floor, sliding a good distance. Jiqing rushed over to help him up. Ace, are you okay? Suzu said nothing, his eyes locked on the buzz-cut like a feral wolf pup. The buzz-cut planted his hands on his hips, sneering. What, can't handle it? It's just a game. Accidents happen. I didn't mean it. Why glare at me like that? Suzu shoved Jiqing aside, ready to charge, but was yanked back again. From the stands, Mu how shouted anxiously, Suzu, don't lose your head. The buzz-cut smirked, eyes darkening. Hey bro, that your girlfriend? He's gorgeous. You're one lucky bastard. Look at that body. Suzu snapped. He clamped a hand around the guy's throat, slamming him to the ground, fists raining mercilessly into his face. Say that again. I'll let you take a good look. Agonized screams filled the court as the buzz-cut lay beaten half-conscious. Jiqing and the teammates struggled to drag Suzu off, trying to bring him back to reason. But his eyes glowed blood red. He looked like a lion gone completely feral. The stands were in chaos, but Mu how didn't care. She rushed straight toward Suzu. Standing before him, staring into those bloodshot eyes, she pleaded, Suzu, listen to me. Forget the game. I'll take you to the infirmary, okay? His rigid body slowly eased, and in a hoarse whisper he said, "Okay." Without another word, he gripped her hand, pulling her out of the roaring crowd and toward the locker room. His pace was so fast and urgent that Mu Hao Hao had to half-run to keep up. "Susu, your hand is still bleeding. Don't walk so fast or the blood will." She didn't finish. He spun around and pulled her into a crushing embrace. "Hao Hao, don't say anything." His voice trembled above her head, low and raw with restraint. Every muscle in his body tightened with suppressed desire. He clutched her like a drowning man, desperate, almost begging. "Don't speak," because the sound of her voice made him want to kiss her, devour her, take things further and further. "Susu, what's wrong? Are you feeling unwell? Let's just go to the infirmary," Mu Hao Hao whispered cautiously. But the searing pain in his fingers told him otherwise. He rasped, "The infirmary won't help. We're going straight to the hospital." Mu Hao Hao nodded quickly in agreement. After their trip to the hospital, once Susu's wound was bandaged, Mu Hao Hao still couldn't stop fussing. "Your cut is pretty deep. No water for a few days and you'll need to come back every day to change the dressing." Hearing her concern, Susu's mood instantly brightened. "Got it, I'll remember. It's already 8 o'clock. Let's grab dinner. What do you want to eat?" Mu Hao Hao glanced at his injury and said cautiously, "You're still hurt. Better stick to something light." Susu nodded softly. "All right. I think there's a mall nearby. Let me check the map." But just then Mu Hao Hao turned her head by accident, and alarms went off in her mind. That was Shin Tinglan. Shin Tinglan, the perfectionist, the devil of the legal world, one of the 5 male leads in the novel, and the very first man to claim the heroine in the original storyline. Mu Hao Hao nearly froze in terror. As a lawyer, Shin Tinglan's sharp eyes and keen hearing were basic tools of his trade. Add to that his reputation as a top-tier attorney, his razor-sharp gaze, and his ascetic yet sinful good looks. Every skill of his was maxed out. If he saw her hanging around a mall with Susu at this hour, the whole game would crash in flames. Susu caught her uneasy look. "Hao Hao, what's wrong?" Luckily, there was a cotton candy stall nearby. Mu Hao Hao quickly pulled him over, feigning cheer. "Hey, what's the matter? Do you want some cotton candy?" She even added a little pout, humming, "Pick one for me." Susu looked them over seriously before deciding. "This one. The bunny looks just like you. Do you like it?" Mu Hao Hao nodded, grinning ear to ear as she held the pink bunny-shaped cotton candy. "It's adorable." Susu froze, his Adam's apple bobbing. How can Mu Hao Hao be this cute? Not far away, Shin Tinglan stood watching. Behind his gold-rimmed glasses, his narrow eyes narrowed further. "So the little one's grown bolder, has she?" Meanwhile, Susu grumbled, "So all that's nearby is a convenience store?" But Mu Hao Hao's mind was elsewhere, locked on Shin Tinglan. She prayed silently that he hadn't seen her and Susu together just now. Out of the corner of her eye, she noticed Susu struggling awkwardly to eat with both hands injured. She took the rice ball from him and said softly, "Your right hand's hurt. It's hard to eat with one hand. Let me hold it for you." Susu froze for a second, then his heart swelled with a bittersweet thought. Today, injuring this hand was worth it. Right then the system chimed. Target Susu, blackening value -10. Current total, 55. Mu Hao Hao was stunned. Just because she fed him a rice ball and leaned a little closer? Among the 5 male leads, Susu might be the most hot-headed, but he was also the most innocent. Give him a piece of candy and he'd be happy for days. That's why she felt the most guilty toward him. Watching him beam with delight as he ate, even declaring, "This is the best rice ball I've ever had," made her chest ache. Mu Hao Hao's guilt deepened, because while Susu gave her his purest devotion, she had only ever treated him as part of a mission, never with true sincerity. After parting ways with Susu, Mu Hao Hao returned to the Mu household. Exhausted, she collapsed onto her bed, muttering that she was dead tired. Still, she consoled herself. Another day survived and Susu's blackening value had even dropped by 10. That was progress. Suddenly her phone rang. One glance at the caller ID made her face go pale. It was Shin Tinglan. Was this just coincidence? Or had he actually seen her with Susu tonight? On the other end, Shin Tinglan's voice was warm and indulgent. "Little one, where are you right now? Did you go out today?" Mu Hao Hao's whole body went rigid. She blurted out nervously, I stayed home the whole time doing homework. Just homework. Shin Tinglan chuckled softly. Don't you want to relax a little? Coming from his lips, the word relax sounded dangerously wrong. In the original novel, Shin Tinglan was the archetypal ascetic villain in a suit, drawn first by the heroine's body, only realizing much later that he had fallen for her as a person. After transmigrating into the heroine's role, Mu Hao Hao had always kept him dangling, stringing him along. Last time she managed to push his favorability up to 80%, probably only because his desire was left unfulfilled, leaving his interest burning hotter. Every nerve in her body screamed resistance. I'm already relaxed. I'm just doing homework. Shin Tinglan, don't you dare say another word. His laugh was low and amused. How about a video call then? I just got back from overseas. Feels like it's been too long since we've seen each other. Mu Hao Hao nearly broke down. Panic sharpened her voice. No. I've got way too much homework. I can't finish it all. Stop bothering me. Shin Tinglan's voice dropped lower, silk over steel. Then Hao Hao, here's my third request for this call. This weekend come to my place for a date. Crap. Mu Hao Hao suddenly remembered the 3 refusal rule she had agreed to in her past life. On any given call, she could only refuse him twice. The third request, so long as it fell within the bounds of a normal relationship, she had no choice but to accept. She nearly wanted to slap herself. How could she be so stupid as to fall into Shin Tinglan's trap again? As she was still panicking, his voice floated through the receiver, deliberate and slow. Make sure you wear something pretty. Otherwise, I'll change it for you myself. Did you hear me, Mu Hao Hao? The words sent a shiver down her spine. She swallowed hard, whispering, got it. And once more she cursed herself. How could she be this hopelessly dumb? The next morning, Mu Hao Hao dragged herself to school, yawning non-stop. Just thinking about having to go to Shin Tinglan's place this weekend had kept her awake all night. She sighed the entire way. Suddenly, Suzu appeared in front of her, holding breakfast. Without a word, he shoved it into her hands, leaving her no room to refuse. This is for you. Thanks for taking me to the hospital yesterday. Before she could even react, he had already turned and walked away. The hallway atmosphere instantly grew strange. Students began whispering in disbelief. The class heartthrob Suzu actually gave breakfast to a girl? That was way out of character. That doesn't sound like simple gratitude. Could it be he's chasing our class belle? Mu Hao Hao stared at the breakfast in her hands, dreading the thought of this rumor reaching Susi's ears. And speak of the devil, Susi's cold voice cut through the air. Mu Hao Hao, come with me. The classmates hadn't even processed it yet. Chu Chin blinked and teased, huh, it's Susi. Is he asking you to help with study materials again? Mu Hao Hao's heart sank. Crap. He must have heard something. Forcing herself forward, she tried to defuse the situation. Suchi, what ese de matter? Our class hasn't ordered any study materials lately. Maybe you've got the wrong room. His frosty gaze pinned her in place. After a long silence, he asked, do I need to bring you breakfast too, just so you'll come with me? Holy crap. The classroom erupted in shock. Had they really just heard that? Do you really want to keep talking here? Susi asked calmly. Mu Hao Hao finally snapped out of it, scrambling for an excuse to escape. Let's go move the study materials. The classroom went dead silent. Then someone whispered the wild thought everyone was secretly having. Wait, are both twins chasing the class belle? Mu Hao Hao followed Susi into the storage room. The moment she stepped inside, she watched him quietly lock the door behind them. She froze, a shiver running down her spine. In a small voice, she reminded him, class is about to start. I still need to get back. Susi didn't stop. He drew the curtains shut, sealing the room from outside view. Only then did he turn slowly to face her. Everyone saw you come here with me. The teacher won't say a word. Mu Hao Hao nearly burst into tears. Why does this feel so familiar? Even the curtains? What is he planning? Stammering, she pleaded, if you have something to say, can't we talk after school? We promised not to let the teachers find out we're, dating too early. Susi stayed silent, stepping closer and cornering her against the wall. In a low voice he said, after school? I'm afraid by then Suzu will have already taken you away. Mu Hao Hao's heart almost stopped. Her eyes darted everywhere but his, refusing to meet Susi's gaze. I don't know what you're talking about. Susi gripped her hand tightly, his voice low and heavy. Why did you accept Susi's breakfast? Mu Hao panicked like a guilty cheater, rushing to explain. Last night he got hurt during the basketball fight. I just took him to the hospital for treatment, so he gave me breakfast to thank me. Darkness pooled in Susi's eyes as he pressed harder. Then why you? There were so many people at the gym. Teammates, coaches, even teachers you could have called. Why did it have to be you who went with him? Mu Hao's face turned pale with panic. She tried to come up with an excuse, but no words would come. Susi leaned in, resting his forehead on her shoulder, his voice low and dangerously tempting. How is it because he's my brother? Is that why you care so much? Just nod. Just admit it and I'll make sure Suzu is out of the picture for good. But Mu Hao didn't give him the answer he wanted. He whispered, no. Suzu looked really off. Anyone who knew him would have gone over to check. And with everyone else caught up in breaking up the fight, no one else could spare the time. Her tone was firm. Whether Suzu was a target to win over or just a friend, she would have helped him anyway. But through Susi's eyes, this timid, cautious girl who usually dreaded getting exposed had stood her ground to defend Suzu. Suzu laughed. A hollow, chilling laugh. So, is the one she really like Suzu? Susi's behavior today was far too unusual. Mu Hao asked cautiously, Susi, what's wrong with you? He lifted his eyes, his tone unwavering. How, let's go public. To him, it didn't matter who she liked. Once they were official, she would belong to him. His resolve hardened again. Mu Hao's eyes widened. No way. We're in our final year of high school, the college entrance exam is next year. If the teachers find out, as long as our grades don't slip, the worst they'll do is tell us to tone it down, so we don't set a bad example. As for my brother, I'll talk to him. If I don't carry enough weight, I'll get my parents involved. His gaze burned with intensity. How we like each other. This is my first relationship. I don't want to hide. I want to stand proudly by your side, bring you breakfast, walk you home, go to school together. Mu Hao was speechless. The system demanded she raise the favorability of every male lead. If she went public with Susi now, the others might spiral straight into darkness. She had no choice but to pull out her trump card. After a long pause, she tugged at the hem of his shirt and whispered, Susi, I'm sorry. From now on, I won't accept breakfast from any classmates, boys or girls. Not even from Suzu. Please don't be mad, okay? Her words were laced with pure coquettish charm, making Susi's face flush, his body stiffen, and his Adam's apple bob as he swallowed hard. Across 2 lifetimes, this was the first time Mu Hao had ever spoken to him in that tone. He forced himself to stay calm. Mu Hao, what are you doing? He grinned. I'm acting spoiled with my boyfriend. Just a handful of simple words, yet they shattered Susi completely, leaving his mind blank. Just then, a doubtful voice came from outside the resource room. Huh? Who's in there? Why is it locked? Damn, it was the teacher. Mu Hao tensed up instantly, her whole body on edge. Susi's once cold heart softened. He reached out, brushed her cheek gently and whispered, It's fine. Don't be afraid. He turned quickly, yanked open a curtain, and snapped a bundle of test papers so they scattered across the floor. The whole setup took less than a minute. Only then did he open the door, calm and composed. Sorry, teacher. The wind was too strong. I was helping another class's rep look for materials and the papers got scattered. We had to lock the door to sort them out. Seeing that it was Susi, the teacher's expression softened immediately. He glanced inside and nodded. I see. Good work, Susi. But class has already started. You two head back. I'll handle the papers on the floor. Yes, teacher. Mu Hao finally let out a long sigh of relief. She never expected that this model student Susi could be so smooth when it came to fooling a teacher. During pee break, Mu Hao let out a long sigh and called out to the system, Yang, stop playing dead, get out here. I'm here, host. What do you need? The system responded instantly. I'm so stressed out. I don't want to toy with the feelings of 5 male leads. I don't want to be a 2-timer. This feels disgusting. Mu Hao sighed again and Yang tried to comfort her, patting her head. Host, you're stabilizing the energy of this world right now. Once you finish the mission, all these male leads will be reborn. They won't be chained by the original plot anymore. They'll live their own lives. So you're not cheating them. You're helping them. That sounds nice, but I still feel so guilty, Mu Hao Hao muttered, head hanging low. Don't dwell on it. Let's focus on how to keep Susi steady. The moment Yang Yang said that, Mu Hao Hao blew up. So you really just sat there pretending to be dead and watched everything today? He suddenly came up with an idea. Yang Yang, I was thinking, last time you said I have to be their girlfriend in order to reset their corruption points, right? What if I break up with 4 of them first, clear one person's corruption points, and then move on to the next? That way I'll feel a little less guilty. At least when I'm dating one of them, I can treat that relationship wholeheartedly. The system froze for a moment before replying. There isn't a hard rule against it, but the guy you dump will lose affection for you. And if you try to reconcile later, he might not take you back. Maybe start with someone easygoing, someone who won't go dark right away after a breakup. The first face that popped into Mu Hao Hao's mind was Suzu, sunny, simple-minded, and the kindest of them all. Her chest tightened as she pressed a hand to her heart. Tears welled up as she thought, out of the 5, he treats me the best. But he's the one I'll have to hurt first. I'm so sorry, Suzu. At that moment, Suzu was lounging back with one leg crossed over the other, crunching on snacks, earbuds blasting music, paying zero attention to class. A total slacker through and through. Then his phone buzzed and Mu Hao Hao's voice came through. Suzu, are you free after school? Can you wait for me? I have something to tell you. Suzu's eyes lit up as he grabbed the phone, his heart soaring. Heavens above. This is the first time Mu Hao Hao has asked me out at school. What was she going to say? He couldn't wait to find out. Meanwhile, Mu Hao Hao trudged toward the equipment room listless, whispering pep talks to herself the whole way. She made sure no one was around before pushing the door open. Inside, she caught sight of Suzu leaning lazily against a rack, casually spinning a basketball in his hands. He handled the ball so smoothly that Mu Hao Hao couldn't help staring. When Suzu saw her, his grin stretched wide. With a casual flick, he sank the ball straight into the storage bin. In that instant, Mu Hao Hao thought he was dazzling. He strolled over, squatted down so they were eye level, propped his elbows on his knees and teased with a bright smile. So, my sweet baby girlfriend, why do you ask me out today? Miss me already? Mu Hao Hao, after an entire day of mental prep, nearly broke down under that radiant smile. Her throat felt locked and not a single word would come out. Susi gently took Mu Hao Hao's hand, beaming with joy. Let's go hang out downtown later, okay? Mu Hao Hao's chest tightened with guilt. She cursed herself. What a terrible, heartless cheater she was. Pulling her hand back, she lowered her gaze, unable to meet his eyes. After a long pause, she whispered, Suzu, don't bring me breakfast anymore. Suzu, missing the hidden meaning, smiled brightly. Alright, I won't bring it to school. I'll deliver it to your house on weekends instead. How about that? Mu Hao Hao's face went pale. She forced herself to look up, gritting out, Suzu, I mean never again. No matter when or where, don't bring me anything at all. At those words, Suzu finally caught on. He slowly straightened, the smile fading from his lips. How, what are you saying? Her voice trembled with unease. This morning you gave me breakfast and the whole class started gossiping. Even students from class 1 heard. I'm afraid the teachers will call me in next. So it was class 1. Suzu's tone was slow and heavy, his eyes narrowing. Was it my brother who came to you? Mu Hao Hao didn't realize the deeper meaning behind his question. She nodded lightly. Yes, Suchi did call me. Suzu, maybe we should take a break for a while. Before she could finish, Suzu's eyes locked onto her, cold and unyielding. He stepped closer, voice sharp and absolute. No break. His anger erupted. He slammed Mu Hao Hao against the wall, teeth clenched as he growled by her ear. Mu Hao Hao, you want to break up with me because of Susi? Over my dead body. I will never let you go. Suzu leaned down, pressing a scorching kiss onto her lips. Mu Hao Hao shoved at his chest in panic, but his strength was overwhelming. She couldn't break free. His forcefulness was something she had never seen before, his arms locked tight around her waist. His voice growled against her ear, each word sharp as a blade. Mu Hao Hao, even if I die, the only name on my grave will be yours. With that, Suzu sank his teeth into the pale curve of her neck, making her cry out in pain. Suddenly, bang. The door slammed open. Susi stormed in, fury radiating off him as he roared, "Susu!" Blood still blazing in his eyes, Susu sneered, voice dripping with mockery. "And what's a perfect little honor student like you doing here, in our delinquents' territory?" Clutched in his arms, Mu Hao Hao wished she could vanish into thin air. She couldn't even process what had just happened. This was about to blow up completely. Desperately, she screamed inside her head, "Yangyang, do something. This is about to crash and burn. Get Susi out of here." But the system only replied helplessly, "Sorry, I can't help this time." Susu's jaw tightened as he snapped, "Do you even know what the hell you're doing, Susi?" Susi's reply was equally unyielding. "Exactly what you're seeing. 2 lifetimes. 2 lifetimes I've waited just to hear Mu Hao Hao call me that way. And you think I'll stand by while she shares that kind of intimacy with another man?" Susi's jaw tightened, his face carved in stone as he seized Mu Hao Hao's wrist. "You're coming with me." Mu Hao Hao's scalp prickled, panic rising. "If only I had some invisibility skill. Please unlock it now. I can't stay here another second." His voice, cold and sharp as a blade, lashed out. How did my brother trick you by pretending to be me? You couldn't even tell?" His grip tightened to the point of pain, forcing her to stumble back into Susu's arms. But her other wrist was yanked by Susu, his tone just as vicious. "Mu Hao Hao is my girlfriend. Open your damn eyes, Susi. You saw exactly what we were doing when you walked in." Trapped between the twins, each wrist pulled in opposite directions, Mu Hao Hao felt like the walls themselves were screaming one word in blood-red letters: exposed. She nearly sobbed, trying to wrench her hands free, but both grips only grew tighter. The twins glared at her, their voices colliding in perfect unison. "Hao, make it clear. Whose girlfriend are you?" While the brothers fought for her claim, Mu Hao drowned in shame and dread. Choking back tears, she cried, "Let me go." But the only answer she got was their hands pulling harder, her body stretched to the brink. Meanwhile, footsteps echoed down the hallway. "Did you hear that?" There was a loud bang from the equipment room. "What happened?" Mu Hao's heart sank. "Crap, someone's coming." Susi leaned close, voice laced with temptation. "Hao, come with me. I can get you out of this mess." Susi scoffed coldly. "Hao is my girlfriend. If trouble comes, I'll handle it. She doesn't need your fake concern." Both brothers turned on her again, speaking in perfect unison. "Hao, choose." Her mind went blank. No matter who she picked, it would be wrong. At that moment, a few classmates peeked in, jaws dropping. Holy crap. This is like a live rom-com. 2 campus heartthrobs, both confessing at the same time, making the girl pick right here. Mu Hao wanted to die of embarrassment. Great. Now they've seen it. The twins shot their icy glares toward the door. "Leave. Now." The group shivered, quickly backing away with forced apologies. Sorry. Didn't mean to intrude. We're leaving. You guys, carry on. Their gossiping souls burned bright, but none dared linger. Mu Hao finally broke, her voice trembling with tears and anger. "Both of you, I don't want either of you." In a sudden burst of strength, she tore free from their grips, covered her face and bolted out of the equipment room in tears. "Did you hear? The twin heartthrobs from senior year are both chasing the class beauty from 3B. They even forced her to choose on the spot." The gossip exploded across campus, spread like wildfire as witnesses scattered the news everywhere. That night, Mu Hao buried herself under her blanket, feeling utterly numb and lifeless. No matter how much Yang tried to coax her, nothing worked. "Don't worry, host," the system fretted. "The corruption value will be cleared. Don't overthink it." She pounded the bed with her tiny fists, nearly in tears. "Who would ever like a girl like me? Someone stringing along 5 guys and now even caught with a pair of twins. The whole school knows. The corruption value must have skyrocketed, probably maxed out already. Worst of all, Susi and Susu must be furious and heartbroken. Not only were they cheated on, they were cheated on with their own brother." Just imagining it made Mu Hao burst into tears. The moment she saw Yang, Mu Hao's temper flared. She grabbed its chubby cheeks and snapped, "This is all your fault. If it weren't for your stupid missions, I wouldn't have to play the villain, and I wouldn't be breaking their hearts." Yang's little face squashed out of shape, squeaked in protest, "Host, stop using real-world morals here. This is a harem novel world. One girl, many guys. Oh, you're right. Mu Hao Hao blinked, loosening her grip. Yang Yang finally caught its breath, then added matter-of-factly, crashing isn't always game over. What if Susi and Suzu both take a step back and decide to accept you together? Or better yet, why not follow the original storyline? Let all the male leads know about each other, then just collect them all. They might sulk at first, but eventually they'll come around. Yang Yang's eyes sparkled like it had just invented the perfect plan. Mu Hao Hao was speechless. With a system this useless and reckless, I swear I'm doomed. Mu Hao Hao dreaded facing the battlefield at school, but as a student she had no choice. Attendance was mandatory. As expected, the gossip about two guys fighting over one girl had already spread across campus like confetti in the wind. Every student knew, and most of the girls couldn't help but gush with envy. Being liked by the twin heartthrobs sounded like a dream. Others speculated wildly. Who will the class beauty choose? One bold girl even declared, kids make choices. If it were me, I'd take both. The hallway, buzzing with chatter moments before, fell dead silent the instant Mu Hao Hao appeared. Before she could process the quiet, her classmates suddenly shrieked, "It's Susi and Suzu." She turned instinctively, only to see the twins standing there side by side, each holding breakfast. Suzu stepped forward first. "Hot milk for you." Susi immediately countered, "And I brought you breakfast." Mu Hao Hao's scalp tingled, her eyes stinging with tears. All she wanted was to dig a hole and disappear. "Please, can we just pretend we don't know each other?" But the entire class was already staring, eyes blazing with gossip. Right on cue, Yang Yang popped up, positively delighted. Friendly reminder. Susi and Suzu's corruption values have each increased by 5. Current stats, Susi 75. Suzu, 45. Mu Hao Hao's temper finally snapped. Tears streaming, she shoved them both toward the door. "Thanks for breakfast, but class is starting. Go back to your own rooms now." Exhausted, Mu Hao Hao dropped into her seat, only for her deskmate Chu Chin to grab her arm, eyes sparkling. "Must be tough being that popular. Are the twin heartthrobs really both chasing after you?" Mu Hao Hao forced a dry smile under Chu Chin's curious gaze, but inside she mocked herself. "Chasing me? More like I got caught two-timing." Chu Chin grew more animated. "I'm Team Suchi. Most of our classes. He's the top student in class 1, so cold and untouchable on the outside. Who knew he'd actively pursue someone?" She added, "I always wondered why he only asked you to help carry materials. Turns out he was creating alone time with you." To Mu Hao Hao it was shocking. When had Chu Chin become such a gossip queen? Class is starting, no more chatting. If the teacher hadn't walked in, Chu Chin would have kept gossiping the whole period. Mu Hao Hao sat in silence, a storm in her chest. Just as Yang Yang had warned, this world felt more vivid and real with each passing day. But with things playing out like this, how long before she could return to reality? When the final bell rang, she quickly packed her bag and tugged at Chu Chin. Chin, let's go downtown. It's been forever since we went shopping together." Deep down, Mu Hao Hao was anxious. With school over, what if the twins came looking for her? She had to use Chu Chin as cover. Sure enough, Susi and Suzu were waiting right outside the classroom door, clearly there to pick her up. Seeing Mu Hao Hao panic and scramble to avoid them, Chu Chin nearly burst out laughing. So that's what was going on. Being the loyal friend she was, Chu Chin immediately stepped in, looping her arm through Mu Hao Hao's. "Hao, that accessories shop we visited just got a bunch of new arrivals. Let's go check them out." Grateful beyond words, Mu Hao Hao clung to her friend's arm and hurried out. The twins didn't stop her. They just stood there watching as she bolted with her backpack like she was fleeing the scene. Their eyes locked midair, sparks flying. Yet without Mu Hao Hao there as the fuse, the fire died down instantly. Mu Hao Hao grabbed Chu Chin's hand and rubbed it against her cheek with a playful pout. Chin, you're such a lifesaver. If I were a guy, I'd marry you on the spot." Chu Chin laughed so hard she could barely breathe, pulling Mu Hao Hao's cheeks wide. "Running away isn't a real solution, Hao. If you don't like them, just reject them. Don't be afraid." Mu Hao Hao quickly changed the subject. "Enough about that. Since we're out, where should we go have fun?" Just as Mu Hao Hao was walking with Chu Chin, a strikingly familiar car rolled slowly toward them. Her heart skipped a beat. Wasn't that Jiqing Lin's ride? She instantly remembered. This was his turf, the biggest money pit in all of City A. It covered everything from casinos to nightclubs and luxury hotels, a complete underground empire of its own. Panic surged through her, and she quickly pulled Chu Chin into a narrow alley to hide. Moments later, Jiqing Lin stepped out of the car. Towering at nearly 6'3", his presence was impossible to miss. As if sensing something, his sharp, narrow eyes swept in their direction. Mu Hao froze, clutching Chu Chin tighter as they pressed themselves against the wall. Her heart pounded wildly. Had he spotted her just now? Chu Chin, still shaken, whispered nervously, How, who was that guy? He's terrifying. Don't tell me this isn't a movie shoot. Just then, muffled thuds and groans echoed from deeper in the alley, mixed with desperate cries. Ah, stop. Please, I'll pay it back. Just give me more time. Chu Chin froze in her tracks, panic flashing in her eyes. She tugged at Mu Hao's hand. Hao, I know that voice. Someone I recognize. I'm sorry, but I can't go shopping with you today. I have to check. Mu Hao shouted in alarm. Don't rush in. It might be dangerous. Let me call my brother and have him send someone first. But no matter how she pleaded, Chu Chin ignored her and kept walking toward the alley's shadows. In the darkness, a group of thugs were mercilessly beating a disheveled middle-aged man, fists landing heavy and cruel. The man collapsed to the ground, begging for mercy. Please, don't hit me anymore. Just one more chance, I swear I can win it back. Their leader, a scarred man with a cigarette dangling from his lips, sneered. He ground his boot onto the man's trembling hand and said coldly, Save the crap. I've heard enough of you losers' excuses. If your daughter wasn't exactly my boss's type, you'd already be dead. With that, he yanked the man's hair up viciously, ready to dish out more punishment. The man whimpered in fear, his voice trembling. Brother Yang, please take it easy. I'm begging you. Brother Yang clicked his tongue, pulled a photo from his pocket, and shoved it in front of the man's face while tightening his grip on his hair. Last chance. Which school does your daughter attend? Tell me and I'll go fetch her myself. The photo showed none other than Chu Chin. Chu Chin fell into silence, her small fists clenched so tightly they trembled. Mu Hao whispered, I already called my brother. Let's just leave. The sunset stretched their shadows across the alley, and a stocky thug spotted them. He quickly alerted Brother Yang, someone's hiding over there. Within a minute, the thug dragged out both Mu Hao and Chu Chin. Panic rising, Mu Hao blurted, My brother is Mu Chong. Try touching us and see what happens. She prayed her brother's reputation in the business world would make them back off. Sure enough, Brother Yang took a long drag from his cigarette, then sneered. Lucky you, having such a brother. Fine, I'll let you go. I won't make things hard for you. But then his gaze locked on Chu Chin, a malicious smile tugging at his lips. You must be Suda's daughter. Su Chin, right? Suda bobbed his head like a man selling off his own flesh and blood. Yes, Brother Yang. That's my daughter, Su Chin. I told you I wasn't lying. Look at her. Pretty, under 18, still untouched. Brother Yang's eyes lit up with satisfaction. Good. I like her. Chu Chin thrashed wildly, her face twisted with hate and humiliation as she screamed, I'm not Suda's daughter. I'm not. At that moment, Mu Hao snatched up a brick from the corner and smashed it down on Brother Yang's head with a heavy thud. She immediately grabbed Chu Chin's hand and bolted. Chu Chin didn't dare hesitate. Both of them sprinted with all their strength toward the mouth of the alley. Brother Yang staggered back, clutching his bleeding head, and roared, Catch them. I don't care whose sister she is. If she doesn't bleed today, I'm not Brother Yang. The alley erupted into chaos, thugs shouting and chasing after them. Stop. Don't run. Chu Chin's voice shook with terror as she cried, What do we do? Mu Hao forced herself to sound calm. Just keep running, we're almost out. But just as they were about to break free from the alley, a man suddenly hooked an arm around Mu Hao's waist and lifted her clean off the ground. She screamed, thrashing wildly. Let me go. Brother. Brother. A low voice soothed her ear, steady and familiar. Don't be afraid. It's me. Mu Hao froze. The voice belonged to none other than Jiqing Lin. Brother Yang, clutching his bleeding forehead, froze when he saw who had arrived. His face drained of color as he stammered, Mr. G. Mu Haohao clung to Jiqing Lin's shoulder like a drowning person grasping at a lifeline, pleading breathlessly, "Jiqing Lin, please help my friend. They're trying to take her away." Jiqing Lin's cold gaze swept across the chaos. Before he even spoke, Brother Yang rushed to explain, "It's not what it looks like, Mr. Ji. Her old man borrowed a fortune from me to gamble, lost millions he couldn't repay, so he promised me his daughter as collateral. He fumbled out an IOU and a repayment contract, shoving them forward with a sickly grin. I haven't even touched the girl in your arms. I told her she could leave. She's the one who bricked me. Call it payback, fine. But that other one, you should let me handle her. I've done nothing outside the rules." One of Jiqing Lin's men stepped up and murmured, "Confirmed. The documents check out." Jiqing Lin's brows furrowed ever so slightly, but he said nothing more, just turned away with Mu Haohao still in his arms. Mu Haohao kept struggling, her voice hoarse with desperation. "Jiqing Lin, put me down. You can't just leave Chu Chin behind." Jiqing Lin lowered his head, silencing her with a hard, possessive kiss. Only after he left did Brother Yang finally exhale in relief, his grin vile and disgusting. "Even Master Ji doesn't care. Let's see who else can save you. Be a good girl and come with me." Chu Chin trembled violently, staring in terror as the pack of wolves closed in. The alley filled with her terrified scream. "No, don't come near me." Meanwhile, Jiqing Lin carried Mu Haohao straight into his office. No matter how she begged, he remained unmoved. "Jiqing Lin, please. Help my friend. She only got dragged into this because she was with me today. You can't just ignore it." Her eyes were brimming with tears. Jiqing Lin said nothing, simply lowering her gently onto the sofa. Seeing his heart as cold as stone, Mu Haohao snapped in frustration, "If you won't help, then I'll go save her myself. I'm not like you, I can't stand by and watch someone die." Jiqing Lin's hand clamped down on hers, his tone cutting like ice. "And what good would you do? You'd just add another body to the pile." Mu Haohao's chest heaved with anger as she shot back. "I can call the police, I can find help, at the very least I can try. I won't just sit here doing nothing." She wiped her tears away, voice hoarse but firm. "You're right. This isn't your responsibility. You don't have to help and I won't beg. But Jiqing Lin, let me go." Jiqing Lin's eyes were unreadable, his voice flat as stone. "Mu Chang's been blocked on the road. He even called me for backup, but he can't get through. Me. I don't feel like getting involved. As for old Yang, no one hides from the cops better than him. So tell me, what exactly can you do?" Not only did the man refuse to help, he even twisted the knife. If this dragged on any longer, Chu Chin would be. Mu Haohao drew a deep breath, forcing herself calm. "What else can I do? I can only turn to the Su twins of the Su conglomerate, to Shen Tinglan, the golden boy of the legal world, or to G.O., the genius hacker." Jiqing Lin let out a low laugh. "Really? Your connections are impressive. But people like them are no different from me, we're not saints. Why do you think they'd help you?" Mu Haohao yanked her hand free, her voice sharp as a blade. "Because they're all my boyfriends. Just like you, each one is a fish in my pond." She sneered, eyes full of defiance. "Jiqing Lin, you're nothing but a dispensable backup. Without you, I have plenty of options. Don't fool yourself into thinking you matter. Help or don't help, it's all the same to me. You're heartless, pathetic." Even the system Yang couldn't stay quiet, popping up to scold her. "Host, calm down. Don't push too far." But Mu Haohao lifted her chin and locked eyes with Jiqing Lin. "So, can I leave now?" Glancing back, she caught the dark storm brewing in his gaze. All that bravado she just mustered deflated like a punctured balloon. Forcing herself to move, she turned on her heel and broke the silence. "I'm leaving." Suddenly, Jiqing Lin's voice cut through the air. "Come back. I'll help." Mu Haohao froze in place. He pulled out his phone and ordered coldly, "Find old Yang. Take the girl from his hands." After hanging up, Jiqing Lin spoke casually, "Your friend, I've already sent someone to save her." Then his tone shifted. He reached out, pulled Mu Haohao by the waist and pinned her against the edge of his desk. "Now," he said, his voice low and sharp, "let's talk about what you just said. You've got plenty of boyfriends and I'm just a disposable backup? Just another fish in your pond." Mu Haohao's scalp went numb. She swallowed hard and forced a shaky smile. "If I said I was joking, Would you believe me? Jiqing Lin clearly didn't. His gaze burned with aggression as he crushed his lips against hers. After a long moment he pulled back and demanded, "Why? Why do you have to be with 4 other men when you already have me?" Mu Haohao was speechless. How could she possibly answer that? Say this world was just a novel and she was here on a mission? Impossible. Seeing her silence, Jiqing Lin pulled out his phone and shoved it toward her. Fine. Don't answer. Call them, every single one. Break up with them right in front of me. Do that and I'll act like none of this ever happened. Mu Haohao's eyes widened in shock. Was this even an option? Jiqing Lin moved slowly but with an undeniable authority, pressing the phone into Mu Haohao's palm. His voice dropped lower. Haohao, be glad you're still underage. If you weren't, I wouldn't be handling this nearly as gently. She took the phone, realizing there was no way to escape today. She had thought before about breaking up with each male lead one by one to clear their corruption values, but after trying with Suzu and failing miserably, that plan already felt doomed. This time she braced herself, ready to give in to Jiqing Lin's demand. Just then the phone lit up with an incoming call. Mu Chong. Her heart jumped. She almost blurted out, "Brother, come save me." But before she could, Jiqing Lin snatched the phone from her hand. On the other end, Mu Chong's voice came cold and sharp. "Jiqing Lin, where's my sister?" Jiqing Lin replied calmly, "She's with me. You don't need to come. I'll bring Haohao back later." Mutom smeared. "My sister doesn't need an outsider to send her home. I'll thank you separately for today, but don't get things twisted." Jiqing Lin's tone remained unhurried. "No need for thanks. And I'm not an outsider. Haohao is my girlfriend. Taking her home is my duty and my right." As he finished, he deliberately leaned down and brushed his face against Mu Haohao's cheek. Mu Chong nearly exploded with rage, shouting, "Give the phone to Haohao right now." Mu Haohao took the phone only to hear Mu Chong's anxious voice. "Haohao, did Jiqing Lin force you? Don't be afraid. I'm already downstairs at his company. Whatever it is, tell me, I'll stand up for you." She glanced at Jiqing Lin, hesitated for a long while, then finally whispered, "Brother, he didn't force me." At this point, maybe the only way out was to follow Jiqing Lin's lead and give it another try. Mu Chong struggled to hold back his fury. "Haohao, why would you suddenly start dating Jiqing Lin? He tried something on you not long ago." In his heart, he knew his sister had no idea they all carried memories from a previous life. To him, Jiqing Lin was rotten to the core. If he hadn't used force this time, then he must have used some other trick. Mu Haohao, at a loss for a proper explanation, scrambled for an excuse. "When he saved me today, I thought he was really heroic. It made me feel safe." Seeing Mu Chong's silence, she pushed the lie further. "We also talked about Qingqi's birthday party. He said he'd drunk too much that night and apologized. He told me he wanted to date me and make it up to me slowly, so I agreed." Mu Chong was so furious he was practically shaking, ready to explode on the spot. Jiqing Lin, however, actually laughed. His usually cold, deep eyes curved with an uncharacteristic trace of amusement. At that moment, Mu Haohao received a system notification. Target Jiqing Lin's blackening value has dropped by 5 points. Current total 55. She froze, and the next second the phone was snatched away. Jiqing Lin's cold voice cut across the line to Mu Chong. "Done confirming? Good. I'm hanging up. And don't bother coming over. Today is Haohao and my first day as a couple. It's meaningful. We've got plenty to do and I'll send her home later." Jiqing Lin, you. Before Mu Chong could finish, Jiqing Lin ended the call with ruthless finality. He then placed the phone back into Mu Haohao's hand, his tone calm yet oppressive. "Haohao, the first thing about being my girlfriend, start by cutting off the other men one by one." Mu Haohao knew there was no dodging it today. She whispered, "All right." But inside she was panicking. Who should she call first? At the Su residence, Suzu and Susi were lounging on the couch, casually watching TV. Suddenly, Susi's phone buzzed on the table. He glanced down, the caller ID showed Mu Haohao. The moment Suzu heard his brother call out, "Haohao," he lunged over to grab the phone. Susi restrained him with ease, then calmly switched on speaker mode so both could listen. Taking a deep breath, Mu Haohao braced herself. "Susi, let's break up." Before Susi could respond, Suzu nearly jumped with joy, blurting out, "Break up? Yes, yes, yes. Haohao, dump him and never look back." Mu Hao Hao winced, scalp tightening. Suzu, we're breaking up too. Suzu almost choked on his popcorn only to hear her voice continue. It's my fault. I shouldn't have hidden the truth or dated you both at the same time. I was wrong. Let's end this. This relationship was never right from the start. No. I told you I'll never break up with you, not even if it kills me. Suzu's voice trembled with fury. Where are you right now? Say it to my face. Susi pressed down on his brother before he lost control, keeping his own tone steady. How, you're still downtown with your deskmate, right? Mu Hao Hao froze, then answered softly, yes. Then enjoy yourselves. This isn't urgent, Susi said firmly. Sus is right. Some things can't be settled over the phone. When you have time, we'll sit down and talk it through. For now, don't let this ruin your day. Hearing Mu Hao Hao say the word breakup nearly drove Suzu insane. He roared at his brother. What the hell are you doing? Why'd you hang up? Are you just gonna sit there and accept breaking up with Hao Hao? Susi met his hot-headed brother's glare, his voice cold and sharp. Hao Hao's been cornered. Didn't you hear it? That call was forced by Jiqing Lin. Suzu froze, his brows furrowing tight. What did you just say? Susi, looking as if he'd already pieced everything together, shot back. She said she was shopping with her deskmate. Do you really think she'd call to break up while out with someone else? What are the chances? And think again, she's in the city center. Whose turf is that? Susi's words hit like a slap. Rage flared in Suzu's eyes. So what now? We just let that bastard G walk all over us? No way. I'm not admitting defeat. I haven't lost yet. Susi sneered, his tone edged with steel. Of course we won't let it slide. But listen carefully. Neither of us can beat Jiqing Lin alone. Our only advantage is that there are two of us. He raised his hand, holding it steady in the air. Suzu glared at the hand, gritted his teeth, then slammed his palm against it in a fierce clasp. Fine. Cooperation it is. This time we'll take Hao Hao back, together. On the other side, after hanging up the call, Mu Hao Hao actually let out a breath of relief, as if a heavy weight had been lifted from her chest. Her next breakup target, Shin Tinglan. At that moment, Shin Tinglan had just finished reviewing a thick case file. He removed his glasses and rubbed the bridge of his sharp nose. When his phone buzzed, he glanced down. Seeing Mu Hao Hao's name on the screen, his brows arched slightly and his peach blossom eyes narrowed. The moment he answered, her voice came through, steady and direct. Shin Tinglan, let's break up. After careful thought, I realized we're too different. Our age, values, even our daily habits. We're not suitable. So let's end it. With the twins, she had felt guilty. But toward this cold, almost inhuman lawyer demon, all she felt was the joy of liberation. With Jiqing Lin backing her now, she had no fear at all. Yet a flicker of caution reminded her. She'd eventually need to reset his blackening value. She couldn't afford to burn bridges. Her confidence faltered and she added in a small voice, also, let's call it an amicable breakup, okay? I'm hanging up now. After the line went dead, Shin Tinglan stared at the screen for a long moment, then the corner of his lips curved into a dangerous smile. The little girl suddenly had this much backbone? Even breaking up sounded fluent. Clearly someone was propping her up. In his mind, he eliminated possibilities. Mu Chong would never meddle and the other kids lacked both guts and strategy. That left only one answer. She must have crashed headfirst into Jiqing Lin. Interesting. Things were about to get lively. After settling things with Shin Tinglan, Mu Hao Hao thought to herself. Now only Gio was left. According to the original story, Gio grew up in an orphanage. At 8 years old, unable to endure the bullying from other kids, he ran away on his own and was later taken in by a farming couple. In middle school, he first came into contact with computers and immediately showed extraordinary talent, deciding to pursue programming. Secretly working odd jobs to buy books and teach himself, he soon earned his first pot of gold. But when his foster parents discovered it, they confiscated all his money and sent him to an internet addiction treatment center. One day he finally escaped from that center. Back then, young Mu Hao Hao found him lying in the snow and asked softly, "Are you okay?" That simple moment planted the seed of love in Gio's heart. Since then, the two had grown up together. Under Mu Hao Hao's influence, Gio became like a loyal little puppy. Even when he later realized she was entangled with other men, he never left her side. Instead, he accepted sharing her. Mu Haohao believed that Ji-O's feelings carried more of sibling-like affection, so breaking up with him should be relatively easy. When Mu Haohao dialed the number, Ji-O's delighted voice came through. "Sister, when will you come see me? It's been so long. I really miss you." Mu Haohao smiled and carefully began, "Xiao, can I talk to you about something?" Ji-O chuckled softly, answering without hesitation, "Sure." She said slowly, "Let's not be boyfriend and girlfriend anymore. Let's just stay as siblings, okay? We'll still get along the same way, only the name changes." On the other end, Ji-O didn't sound angry or accusing, only puzzled. If nothing will change, then why does sister want to break up? Mu Haohao started rambling, because holding on to that title isn't good. You're still young and don't really understand what love is. Someday when you meet a girl you truly like, our relationship like this wouldn't be right. Ji-O's voice turned pitiful. "But I only like sister. I've never liked anyone else." Then he asked in return, "Is it because you already like someone else and you think I'm holding the spot of your boyfriend, so you want to break up?" Mu Haohao was speechless. His counter-question was too sharp, leaving her unsure of what to say. After a pause, Ji-O spoke again, still in that puppy-like innocent tone. "Sister, can you come see me this weekend? Then we can talk it through slowly. If you suddenly want to break up, I'll think I must have done something wrong.